Can you imagine a point at which you would say they are cooperating enough that I'm going to step out of my role and say, personally, this war is not justified?
He is bringing along a world coalition that he calls the coalition of the willing, when it's really a coalition of the bullied.
What went wrong that so many governments and peoples around the world now not only disagree with you very strongly, but see the U.S. under your leadership as an arrogant power?
Well, that was almost 12 years ago now. The winter of 2003, and the media was pressing hard on the Bush administration right before the eve of the Iraq war. So how are those same media outlets covering President Obama as we get ready to do battle with this terror army in the Middle East? Brent Bozell is the president of the Media Research Center, and they track these kinds of things. Brent, different tone now?
Completely different. You know, looking back on it, I think it's fair to say that the media's attitude toward President Obama now is one of befuddlement and concern. They're seeing all sorts of problems that they think he's facing around the world. But 12 years ago, the attitude was entirely adversarial against the president. He wasn't facing problems. Then George Bush was causing problems all over the world. And those two clips you showed were an indication of that. So leading up to the Gulf War in 2006 or 2004, 5, whatever year it was, the attitude of the media was that this was not a coalition that this man was putting together. This was, in fact, the Bush empire.
Why can't that just be explained by the fact that the Iraq War, then, thereafter, and still today, was very controversial, and our reasons for doing it very controversial? And today we're faced with a different enemy under different circumstances, and so why should the reporting be exactly the same?
Well, it should be the same because facts are facts. And if you're going to say that George Bush did not have a coalition of the willing, as he said that he did, then you've got to have the same standards with President Obama. It's as simple as that. George Bush, you know, they pointed out that George Bush only had 4 other nations willing to put boots on the ground. President Obama has nobody, has no other nation willing to do it. So where's the coverage over the fact that this man is incapable, apparently, so far, of putting together a coalition?
Some have covered it. Some have covered it. But your point is it hasn't gotten the same attention as it did when it was President Bush in the White House. Let me show you this, because apparently now this is your group. The network evening news reports on presidential approval, and President Obama's is at an all-time low right now. Between January and August of this year, there have been 9 network news reports on President Obama's sinking poll numbers, approval ratings. Look at the number for President Bush. This is from you guys. 124 reports during the same period of 2006. Yeah. 124 to 9, Brent. What does it tell us?
Well, let's carve it down a little bit more. If you look at not just all the policies, just Obama's approval rating versus Bush's approval rating, just that alone. In 2006, it was this nonstop narrative on George Bush on how the wheels were coming off his presidency. It's undeniable. There were 52 network news stories devoted to that. Okay, the wheels are coming off the Obama administration. How many stories have there been this year? 2. 52 versus 2. This is not any semblance of objectivity. This is the media that were out to get George Bush and are out to defend Barack Obama.
Wow, those numbers are pretty stark. Brent, great to see you.